a rematch. It's for the Big 12 title. But even more than that, the last major game of the season will determine the BCS outlook. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horwitz, glad to be with you on the Toyota College Football Preview. It's number one everywhere, Missouri, against winners of the Big 12 South, Oklahoma, a team that has been to 6 of the last 8 Big 12 title games. Well, this marks number one for Missouri, who, by the way, has that ranking in the AP for the first time in 47 years, hoping to keep it. And with more on that, we bring in Spencer Tillman from Houston to break down the game. And Spencer, I want to get something out of the way here at first, right off the bat. So many people this week have said that it's not fair that Missouri has to play another game against a top 10 team when their body of work has earned them number one, and say Ohio State, they don't have to play the last 2 weeks of the season, and the team that the Buckeyes lost to Missouri, that's Illinois. But let's just get it out of the way. That's the way it is. Big 12 chose it. It's not fair, but that's the way it is.
That's right. I mean, you have to figure out who the constituencies are here. The people that want the big-time game, the SEC, the Big 12, and other conferences that choose to have a championship game want the financial windfall that comes as a result. So, again, you got purists that are arguing they want to see a playoff system to define a definitive champion, and you got the money side of it. And I think what we've got to do is find that middle ground and, just shake it off. It's not going to change. It is what it is, and let's play football.
Let's play football. Bob Stoops has been calling for that as well. I mean, Oklahoma's had to deal with this in the past. They came in as the number 1 or 2 team 3 different times to the Big 12 championship game, lost in 2003, but they still went to the BCS title game. That won't happen for Missouri if that school loses. So what do the Tigers have to do in this game to not have a loss like they suffered in Norman back in October?
Well, I think it's simple. Depending on who you talk to, some people think that the Missouri should have won that football game, but for the turnovers late in the contest. And that's what you got to do. I mean, again, we've talked about this on this show before many times, that the statistic that points toward victory and defeat more often than any other is the turnover ratio. And I think after this one, with both teams peaking at this particular point in time in the season, it's going to come back again, down to turnovers. I think you're going to see a high-scoring game, a lot of points, a lot of talent on both sides of the football. But again, it gets back to execution and not turning the football over.
4 turnovers in that game, Spence. And Missouri had the lead going into the fourth, but gave up 18 points to Oklahoma in the final 15 minutes. There's so much talent on this field on both sides. Yeah. But, I think there's a special player for Missouri that people are starting to get to know a little bit, but they certainly will after this game. His name's Jeremy Maclin, certainly one of the best freshmen in the nation. What will his role be on Saturday night?
Well, as a punt returner, kick returner occasionally, and a wide receiver from scrimmage, he's going to be dangerous. And I tell you what really makes him an extra special player, in my opinion. It's the 2 tight ends that Missouri has. You got Kaufman on one side and Rucker on the other side. Those two are what allow for the man-on-man coverage that you're going to see on the perimeter that will allow a skilled and talented wide receiver to exploit them. So I think that's the big challenge. But there is an issue to consider. Kaufman has an ankle problem. He may not be 100%. He's supposed to come out of the boot today on Wednesday. We'll see what happens. But it should be a fun contest because the matchups are very, very good. Bob Stoops acknowledged it much, and he's feeling confident about his ball club.
That's actually, you hit on it right on the head. That is a very key point to this game. Kaufman has to be healthy for Missouri's offense to be as effective. And, of course, that means for Chase Daniel, the quarterback for Missouri, to be very good. He and Sam Bradford, the quarterback for Oklahoma, 2 completely different styles of offense. Both have been extremely effective this year. Daniel, the spread. Bradford, the drop-back passer. He set an NCAA freshman mark for touchdown passes this year. Neither has the experience on this stage. Who's your guy Saturday night?
Well, both quarterbacks are awful talented at what they do. I mean, Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, has his quarterback more in a traditional sit-in-the-pocket type, survey what's going over there and exploit where they aren't. In other words, throw the ball where the protection is not. And he does a fine job of that. All you have to do is look at the Texas Tech tape and see with him out of the lineup, Oklahoma comes away with the loss in that game. Chase Daniels is a creator. He's a playmaker, a big-time player. He's unconventional at around 6 foot, 6'1". That's stretching it a little bit, 230 pounds. But he's got tremendous speed, and he's got tremendous leaderships and smarts. So I'm not sure who has the edge because both players do especially well what their systems ask them to do. But I think it's going to come down to a great battle between 2 field generals, and it should be entertaining to be sure in San Antonio.
And they've been absolutely fantastic this year in every game that they've needed to be good. And they were both very good in the game there in Norman. All right, Spence, Missouri's never won a national title. They need this game to get that chance. Oklahoma's players, they're expected to be here year in, year out. They've beaten Mizzou 5 straight times. Do the Sooners make it 6?
Well, yes, that's the short answer. And again, it's not an easy one for me to arrive, despite what most people may think, being an Oklahoma guy. But I just think the coaching experience of Bob Stoops in these big game settings will be a benefit. I think also the experience of the players being there before will be a benefit. There will be a certain confidence that they'll enter this contest in. It'll be good enough to get a win.
Yeah, certainly experience plays a big role. I just, for some reason, have this feeling that Missouri will win this game. It's tough to beat a team 2 times in 1 year, so I'm going to take Missouri in this one.
You're right.
Spence, we will see it Saturday night. We'll see how it all unfolds, and then we'll be talking about the BCS National Championship game. If Missouri wins, they'll be in it.
All right, Jason.
Take care, Spence. Folks, there have been 9 BCS National title games so far. 5 of those have had a team from the Big 12. 3 of the last 4 Missouri win, and you can make it 4 of the last 5. The 2 kick it off at 8 p.m. Eastern from San Antonio. For more on this game or any other here in Championship Week, stay with CBSSports.com and watch everything else all over the CBS Audience Network. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.